Good evening. It is Tuesday, February 21st, and welcome to the Positional Sports Talk Show Post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and our Positional Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We'll provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. I'm honored and glad to have my longtime brother and first partner in crime, J3's in the building. What's going on, J3? We're going back to the Beltway days when it was just you and I doing this thing.
Yes, sir. What's up, Big Reg? Professor J, man, we see you, bro. Salute.
Yeah, Professor J, again, we continue to pray for you and Sense, and take care of yourselves, take care of your family. To our brother Ed and our sister Rashida, we send prayers and thoughts out again to your family with your recent losses. We're here for you. If you need us, just let us know. But J3 and I are going to talk some sports this evening. So this evening, we're going to give you some quick hits. Then we got to talk some NFL news. And there's some interesting things that's been going on. And there's one specific topic that's kind of been really crawling under my skin. I just felt like J3, you and I could kick it around a little bit. Then we're going to talk about the NBA. Right now, that's the biggest thing out there as far as who's going to set themselves up in this final payoff push to make the NBA playoffs. And of course, we'll hit you with our final post of the evening. So as always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Please sit back, relax, enjoy Post on the Positional Sports Talk Show channel. J3.
Yes, sir.
This is third week I done said it, bro. The madness continues.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, my goodness. Number one, Alabama. First time get the number one ranking in 20 years. And what do they do in their first game? Lose at number 11, Tennessee. Now, they were actually the underdog by the books going into that game. So they knew that was going to be a tough game. Going to play Tennessee at Tennessee is tough. But when you make it Alabama at Tennessee, that was actually Alabama's first rivalry before Auburn became a rivalry. Mm-hmm. So that game, quite honestly, Alabama let Tennessee get physical with them. I've seen Alabama, they're 23-4 for the year. Their most two recent losses, they allowed a team to literally get physical with their young players. Alabama starts 3 freshmen and has 4 freshmen that play a significant part in their whole team. So they just pushing these young guys around with these older players and trying to see if they can adjust. And they just couldn't pull it through against Tennessee, end up losing 68-59. So number one was short-lived.
All I can say is you got to learn some kind of way. And if losing is the way you're going to grow, then maybe that was a good thing. I mean, they only had a taste for number one for a little time. And so now they got something to strive for.
Yeah.
Don't let that negative, let that negative turn into a positive.
Absolutely, absolutely. They did bounce back from their loss, and over the weekend, they just blew Georgia out 108-59. But Alabama's loss allowed Houston, the University of Houston, regain the number one ranking. And to be honest, University of Houston has been the most consistent team all year. They're 25-2. They've only had 2 losses all season. They basically go on 10 to 12 game winning streak, then they have a hiccup. Then they go on the 10 to 12 game winning streak and have a little hiccup. So they just been balling. I think they start 3 seniors. One of them is a super senior, like a 5th or 6th year guy, and like a junior and a sophomore. So they are an older team. So, and they're strong. They get into teams. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch. And then we got to talk about the defending champs, number 3 Kansas, 23-5. They won 5 in a row. And in that latest 5-game winning streak, they beat 3 top 25 games, which should have been one of their hardest little runs. 2 of those teams were top 10. So they look like they're trying to get themselves positioned to maybe try to defend their title.
See, Kansas been there before. They've been there, so they understand what it takes to maintain at that level, and still turn it on when they need to, so that they can escalate that level when they need to. I ain't mad at them.
Absolutely. And then you've got the remaining top 10. You got number 4 UCLA, number 5 Purdue. Purdue's that strange team because Purdue's got the center Edey, who's 7'6". He's the outlier in basketball. He's so big that he literally changes people's offense. But if you make them play outside of him, they really don't have a real strong team. But that 7'6" is hard to play. And then quietly, number 6, Virginia's been having a good year. You got Arizona, Texas. Texas is an interesting subject matter because Texas had let their head coach go in December. First, they put him on leave with pay, and then they ended up firing him, what they say for cause, and the former coach is suing him now because of a domestic violence situation. So they've got a black head coach, and remember they had Shaka Smart there, who was a black head coach and was hurt, tried to get rid of him. So now the assistant head coach is now the acting head coach, who's a black young man, and he's got Texas still balling 21-6. So it'd be interesting to see if they allow this young man to keep this job, or they're going to try to go for a big name, because you know how things are in Texas, unfortunately. At least some parts of Texas. Then round off top 10, Baylor and Marquette. Yeah, Professor, I hear you about UNC. UNC just hasn't been playing good basketball this year. I think they're barely 500 in the ACC, and the ACC isn't that strong this year. Duke actually has been playing better basketball lately over UNC. So, I mean, most of your blue buds, Kentucky's starting to play a little better, but they're struggling. Louisville fell off the map. Louisville's program is just, struggling. Michigan State struggling. Juwan Howard and his Michigan Wolverines are struggling. So it's a lot of. So there's no Michigan, dominant teams.
Speaking of Michigan, do you think they got the big head from all the hype from last year, and now they can't back it up?
Yeah, I think they have a very interesting situation, because Juwan's son is probably their star now, and that's kind of. I've watched a couple of their games, parts of 2 or 3 games, and it seemed like the offense was trying to force it to Juwan's son. And so they were trying to work through that. So it's going to be real interesting. That's a dynamic that a lot of teams struggle with. When having sons on the team is normal. Having son on the team and he the star doesn't work that much.
Jerome was clowning UNC talking about NIT. Here we come.
Yeah, the way they struggling, they struggling. So let's move on to the women's side.
Uh-oh.
Dawn Staley and her number 1 South Carolina, they had to go into overtime this weekend. They struggled to beat Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is like number 3 in the SEC. They like 3 or 4 in the SEC. They in the middle of the pack of the SEC. They struggle. End up winning overtime 64-57. What was interesting to me, though, about this game, J3, Dawn Staley's usually a very vocal coach, and she's on her team. She sat on the bench most of that game and made her team try to figure it out, because they came out with not a lot of energy and lackluster, thinking they're just going to roll in the University of Mississippi and just, roll over them. Nah, they got a good head coach. They don't have the players that South Carolina has, but they got a good head coach. They're going to be prepared, and they're one of the best defensive teams in the country, and they made them young ladies work. So I think this is a good lesson for them, that they got to show up each and every game, because if they come into a better team playing uninspired basketball, they're going to lose.
So you think Dawn should use some reverse psychology on the girls?
Yeah, literally. If she didn't have to get up, she was literally sitting on the bench and barely making any kind of noise, anything, just sitting there with other coaches, talking back and forth. I said, "Oh yeah, Don sending the message. Y'all playing like this? Y'all know I ain't teach you that, so y'all go ahead and figure that out."
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But the hottest team right now in women's basketball is number 2, Indiana. They're on a 14-game winning streak, 26-1. The Big Ten is one of the better women's conferences this year. Obviously, the SEC has 2 of the top teams, and of course, South Carolina and LSU. But the Big Ten is very deep. They've got 3 of the top 7, and I believe they have 6 or 7 in the top 25. So it's a deep conference. And for Indiana to be 26-1 is very, very impressive. They have one more big game this weekend, Sunday, against number 6 Iowa. And then they can wrap up with the win. They'll wrap up the Big Ten regular season title and get ready for the Big Ten tournament. A great game that's on right now in the Big Ten is you got number 6 Iowa playing number 7 Maryland at Maryland. So that should be a good game. After we get off the air, I plan on catching up on that. Got that on the DVR. So it's got some good things going on. But right now, South Carolina still is head and shoulders the best team right now in the country. They've already beat number 3 Stanford. They beat number 4 UConn. They beat number 5 LSU. They beat number 7 Maryland. So, I mean, if they come to show, come to play, it is theirs. Lastly, in our quick hits, got to give a shout out to U.S. World Cup champion and skier Mikaela Shiffrin for her 3-medal performance at the Skiing World Championships that's taken place over the last 2.5 weeks. She got her record 14 medals in 17 races.
Smoking.
So if she show up, she medaling for the most part. She participated in 4 events this World Cup, and the one event she didn't medal, unfortunately, she was on pace to win the gold in that and got one of her skis clipped the gate, and she ended up missing the gate, 3 gates from the end. So she was at the bottom of the hill, almost done.
Oh, man.
And just went out. But she still ended up winning the gold in the giant slalom and the silver in the slalom in Super G. So, again, Mikaela Shiffrin keeps doing great things, and she starts her quest to beat the all-time record next week. She's just one away from tying the great Ingemar Stenmark in the overall World Cup wins battle, and she's looking to win her 5th overall world title in women's skiing. So she's doing great things and only 27.
Nice.
All right, man. Do you want to go with the difficult conversation in the NFL, or you want to go with the easy one?
No, let's go with difficult first.
All right.
Let's get it out of the way.
Man, this Eric Bieniemy situation has really been blowing my mind, J3.
Why? Please explain it to me. Why? I would have thought you would have been excited.
I'm not excited that a 2-time winning Super Bowl offensive coordinator, been to the Super Bowl 3 out of the last 5 years, had to leave a good situation as the offensive coordinator of Kansas City Chiefs, where he's got a great head coach, a great front office, and the best quarterback in the game, to take, let's call it what it is, a lateral position. He got the quote-unquote title assistant head coach. But all that is real title. There's only one head coach. To become offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. But yet, the team that he just beat in the Super Bowl, both of their coordinators just got head coaching jobs.
Okay, but you make it seem like you don't understand what's going on in the NFL. I mean, we've talked about this numerous times. I mean, throughout the last 4 years, we've already said that the NFL is racist. The NFL is the new plantation. We've said this multiple times and in different variations. It ain't gonna change. And to be honest with you, Eric Bieniemy did what he thought was going to help him in the future. I mean, me personally, I'd have just stayed where in Kansas City and rode that bandwagon until the wheels fell off. I mean, plain and simple. They not going nowhere no time soon. So for him to go to a organization that has already racist undertones, exploitations, and a cruddy record. I mean, he just put himself in the frying pan, and I don't understand why.
Oh, I hear you. But if you're going to leave, go somewhere where you're at least in a decent situation. From all the reports I'm reading and hearing about, it actually looks like Daniel Snyder's going to sell his team this spring. And it looks like the NFL is fast tracking it right now. Sometime in early March, it's down to 2 bidders left that supposedly have to resubmit their final bid quotations to purchase the team and have proof that they can raise the money to do it. Because you're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 to $7 billion.
Okay, so let me ask you this: well, what is your opinion? How do you think Ron Rivera and Eric Bieniemy are going to work? Because it appears to me that Ron, he has an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, but it still seems like he has his hand in both of those arenas. And so if that's the case, then Eric Bieniemy is not going to an organization where he's going to be able to run the offense like he wants to or should or could, because he's still going to have to bow down to Mr. Rivera.
Well, supposedly, and again, this is supposedly, in his contract, he's supposed to have control over the offense. That's what they're saying. But when you have a coach that's on the hot seat who's going to have possibly new bosses, and we know what happens when new ownership comes in, they want to put their people in place. So he just signed a 2-year deal to go to an organization with a coach that's already on a hot seat and might have new ownership. So the move just doesn't make sense.
Unless he knows something that we don't, and maybe he could be the next head coach. What you think?
I could see that if we knew Snyder was keeping the team, I could see that possibly happening. But if you have brand new owners, he don't know who's going to buy the team because he don't know who Snyder going to select. All that's been hidden under secrets and all that. I mean, people are still holding out that in the last minute, your boy Mr. Bezos is going to say, here's $8 million. I want the team. But I don't think Snyder's going to sell to him because he's mad at him for what the Washington Post has done, and he owns the Washington Post. So it's frustrating, J3. I'm frustrated that a very good coach has to go through this over and over again.
TV timeout, bro.
Yes, sir.
Relax, relate, release. It is not worth stressing over. You got bigger and better things to be concerned about than what somebody else is doing on a team or the franchise that don't really care about us at all.
I'm not talking about the franchise because you're right. I could care less about Washington. I'm just talking about in general, where every time they say, well, he has to prove this, he has to prove that, or regardless. I mean, the same could be said about Lamar Jackson, who we can get into with the NFL tags. You prove stuff, and then they say, well, that's not enough. I need you to do this now. Oh, well, that's not enough. Okay, just tell me you don't want me to have a job and just leave it at that.
I mean, sometimes you got to look outside the lines and read what's in between them. If you can't read them, then, you got to make changes yourself.
Yeah.
But not everybody likes change.
And let's be honest. Eric Bieniemy isn't the sophisticated, tall, slender, cut up, light-skinned black guy. Eric Bieniemy was an NFL running back. Mm-hmm. So he dark brown, bald head, little heavy set because he ain't playing football anymore. So he does it have the glamour look.
Well, first
So
of all,
it's a shame.
hold on, bro. Don't go by his looks or don't go by his physique because Andy Reid doesn't fit none of that what you just stated.
Yeah, but Andy
I
Reid's
know,
white.
I understand, but I'm just saying and if you really are talking about the physique and the stature of coaches, well, look at Herman. Herman didn't last long.
Yeah,
Uh,
Herman Edwards is a light skinned black guy. I'm
right.
we being real. We being real.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, I mean, the physique doesn't have nothing to do with it. It's all about who the owner wants and how long they're gonna keep you. Period.
I Well, today opened up the window of what's known as the NFL franchise tag. And basically what that is, it gives NFL teams an opportunity to have people who are getting ready to become unrestricted free agents to put a tag on them which restricts their movement. There are two types of tags, a non-exclusive and exclusive. Then so everybody out there knows what's going on. A non-exclusive tag allows a player to negotiate with any of the teams, and if he reaches a deal with the team other than the team that he was just on, that current team, his current team will have the option to either match that deal, so first right of refusal, or they can let him go to the new team and they get 2 first-round picks. Now, the reason they said it for 2 first-round picks, most teams aren't willing to give up 2 first-round picks for a player, with the exception of quarterbacks. Right now, for quarterbacks, the non-exclusive tag is $32 million. Now, if you hit a player with the exclusive tag, that means they can only negotiate with their former team. And basically, they're either going to come to a new long-term agreement, the player's going to play on that tag, and if they play on that tag, they get paid the average of the top 5 salaries at that position. Or they got to sit out and don't play at all and demand a trade, and hopefully the other team will move them. So with the exclusive tag, the QB salary is 45 plus million. So it's a $13 million difference between a non-exclusive and exclusive tag. And where that comes into play is in the QB market, the biggest fish right now is Lamar Jackson. He and the Ravens have been going back and forth now for a couple of years, and they couldn't come up to an agreement. You also got Geno Smith with Seattle. Geno Smith had the best year of his NFL career. So what does Seattle do with Geno? Sounds like Daniel Jones, he just hired new representation to be his agent. So it sounds like Daniel Jones going to play a little hardball with the New York Giants. And then you got David Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo, who are actually fully unrestricted free agents right now. So it's very interesting. But the Lamar thing is going to be very interesting because the Ravens couldn't sign him last year because Lamar wanted a deal better than the deal that Cleveland gave Deshaun Watson, which was 5 years, $230 million, fully guaranteed. Every penny he getting. And Lamar was like, I got an MVP, he don't. I got as many playoff wins as him, actually more, he don't. And I don't have the off-field baggage. And I've been playing every year. This guy's basically hadn't played in 2 years. So how can you tell me I don't deserve what he got and a little more based on my resume?
Well, you already know. Obviously, the Ravens are telling him that they really don't want him, or they're going to get rid of him because they would have paid him already. I mean, we all know Lamar has improved every year that he's been on the field. I mean, so why wouldn't you jump to the opportunity to pay him as soon as you can so you can lock him in and he can feel secure about his position? Why are they tap dancing around signing him a guaranteed contract?
And see, that's where the Ravens made the mistake. Just like the LA Rams signed their players after their 3rd year when they still had the 4th year to go and the 5th year option that they picked up. They wait till all 5 years, and then at the side they're gonna try to negotiate as he's going into his 5th year. People underestimate Lamar like he's not a smart dude. He's looking at the numbers, and the numbers say, okay, yeah, the Ravens supposedly offered Lamar a 5-year deal, from what I read, somewhere in the neighborhood of around $255 to $260 million. That sounds like a great deal. That sounds like that would have made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, more than Aaron Rodgers, $50 million at $52 million, $51 to $52 million average per year. But they're only going to guarantee 2 years with a partial guarantee in the 3rd season.
So he's not getting all that money, so it's not really what he was expecting or what he wanted.
It was lower than what the Arizona Cardinals paid their quarterback when they re-signed him over the summer.
Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm. It was lower than what Russ got with the Denver Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And nowhere near the $230 million to Sean. So basically, I think the number that they said they were going to guarantee, and that wasn't guaranteeing fully for his money, but just guaranteed was like $130 million. So they $100 million apart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you make up $100 million, bro.
So if you Lamar, what are your options? What do you do? Do you sit there and take it, or do you go somewhere else?
If I'm Lamar, if they tag me and the tag that starts today, and they have to make a decision on applying the tag to players within the next 2 weeks, so that gives them till March 7th to actually put the tag on, and then they have until like the 2nd week in July to negotiate a contract. And if they don't come to a contract conclusion, a long-term contract, then the player either have to play under the tag if they sign it, or they don't play. And I think what Lamar's going to do is, he's going to tell them, I'm not going to sign your tag. So you can put the tag on me. I'm not going to sign it.
Amazing.
And y'all let me know where I'm going to be playing next, because I'm not going to play for you under that. So you're either going to pay me a long-term deal, or let's see what y'all look like with Tyler Huntley as your starting quarterback.
So basically, he's sitting in the driver's seat with no keys.
I don't know if it's no keys. I mean,
that's what it sounds like. I mean, he's not getting what he wants, and it don't seem like the Ravens are trying to give him what he wants.
Somebody will, though.
Absolutely.
So the Ravens, I think, going to have to come to a harsh reality. They're going to have to trade Lamar Jackson and basically start all over.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got some other big names out there. Saquon Barkley, the New York Giants running back. Josh Jacobs of the Raiders, who just led the NFL in rushing. Tony Pollard, the best running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Miles Sanders, the all-star running back for the Eagles. Offensive tackles, Chiefs, Orlando Brown Jr., 49ers, Mike McGlinchey, the Jaguars, Jawan Taylor are some of the biggest names out there. Even talk about Washington again. Washington's got Deron Payne that they got to pay. One of their star defensive tackles, the number 1 pick. I think he's going to get tagged. The Eagles, Javon Hargrove. So it's a bunch of people out there. So next 2 weeks going to be interesting. So we'll keep you apprised of who gets that infamous tag and who doesn't.
Mm.
Zeke ain't going to be no Eagle.
He going to have to go somewhere, because I don't think Dallas going to keep him.
Zeke going to eat a big slice of humble pie and take a contract renegotiation and pay for about half the money he was playing for. That's what's going to happen to Zeke. He ain't trying to leave Dallas. All right, man, let's move to the NBA. Did you have any chance to check out any of the NBA All-Star Weekend?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the All-Star game, and I saw my man put up 55. So, I was kind of happy about that. But other than that, yeah, it didn't really pique my interest too tough.
Yeah, Jason Tatum did his thing. He broke the all-time All-Star game record, hitting 55. Donovan Mitchell had a good game. I think Mitchell dropped 37 or 38. Jaylen Brown, who was playing on the opposite team of his teammate Jason Tatum, and a couple of times in the third quarter, they was going back and forth at each other. They was all balling. But that was the worst All-Star game I've seen, J3.
Yeah, because they don't play no defense.
They didn't even attempt. It used to be, okay, we ain't going to play no defense for the first half, and then we're going to try to play a little defense in the second half and make it a little better. The NBA even changed the game and went to a fourth quarter Elam ending where instead of, it's just about points, you take whoever's leading at the end of the third quarter, they add 24 in tribute to Kobe Bryant, and that's the target number that you got to get to give some incentive. LeBron's team wasn't even trying to play, man. It was
a hot mess. It was a hot mess. Yep.
It's just terrible. I mean, they used to at least give you some effort in the second half. I understand nobody trying to get hurt. They want to be healthy. They all of them 1, 2, 3 Cancun. They worked out where they got an extra 4 or 5 days off after the All-Star break. So they trying to go somewhere warm for 3 days before they got to get back to the team. But you got to, if you're going to show up, dude, play a little basketball. They was talking about it on the actual All-Star game. And some of these guys, most of these guys play a whole lot harder in the offseason when they playing pickup basketball against each other. Just play like you're playing pickup basketball. Come on, man.
I feel sorry for the fans that actually pay money to go see that mess because they getting robbed.
Ooh, you talk about a high ticket price and all the money you got paid for hotels.
Yep.
The flight out there is increased. Yep. The meals all increased because you're going to the All-Star game. Yeah, you're right about that.
They just getting robbed.
Funny thing happened. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf. He won the MVP of the celebrity game Friday night. DK had like 5 dunks in the game, was getting steals, doing all that stuff. Guess what happened to DK on Saturday?
He pulled a hammy?
No. He got a notice that he had to report for a random drug test by the NFL.
Wow. Oh, that's terrible. Wow.
DK, he tweeted, he's like, yeah, I just won this MVP, and now I got to go get a random drug test.
That's terrible.
That was hilarious.
It just goes to show you, it's only so much you can do, and they're going to pull you back down.
That is hilarious. The skills competition on Saturday, Utah Jazz 3-man team won that. It wasn't really no big deal. I enjoyed watching the 3-point contest.
Mm-hmm.
The Indiana Pacers had 2 contestants in the final. Halliburton and their forward, I can't think of his name right now, but from the islands. They did it, but Dame Lillard did his thing. This was his third time in the contest, and he said before the contest, I'm either winning it or I ain't never doing it again. One of the two. And Dame dropped it on him to win the 3-point contest and said, I'm done. But he wanted to make sure people understood that he is one of the best shooters in the NBA, if they had any doubt. We know Steph's the best. But if you had any doubt who might be second or third, Dame trying to show people. Dame
got range. Dame go half court, bottom of the net. Like what? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then in the All-Star game, I think it was the end of the third quarter, Dame pulled up a shot that was on the logo on the other side. Right. It shot it like a jumper.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was stupid. Probably the highlight of the whole weekend, though, J3, was a G Leaguer. Philadelphia 76ers. Just this past week signed Mac McClung to a 10-day contract. So he only on a 10-day deal. I think they did it just to get him into the dunk contest.
Hey, it worked because everybody talking about him. He got the buzz right now.
Yeah, if people didn't know who Mac McClung was, I knew about this dude about 7 years ago when they would start talking about, hey, it's this kid down in Virginia that comes up to the Tidewater area playing in these tournaments. And this young white kid is dunking on everybody and winning these dunk contests in high school. So he's been doing this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Georgetown for his first 3 years, then transferred out, ended up playing 2 more years at Texas Tech. And since then, he's been bouncing around, just trying to make it in the NBA. I think he's got actually 3 games of actual NBA regular season game time in his career. And he's been trying this for the last 3 or 4 years. But when it comes to dunking, he's one of the best in the world. And he showed out.
That's awesome.
4 dunks, 3 of them got perfect 50s. And the 4th dunk probably should have.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, he was doing his thing.
That's
One
impressive.
dunk, he jumped over 2 people. Guy was on the other guy's shoulders, took the ball off the top guy, tapped it against the backboard, then threw it down.
Oh, wow.
And he's 6'2".
So he got skills.
Oh, he got mad skills.
He got skills. Okay.
He had mad skills. He had another dunk where he did 180, double clutched it, and slammed it, and then finished the contest with not a 360 dunk, J3, a 540.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talking about Karl Malone and him being a judge wasn't a good look. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, Karl Malone, Karl Malone couldn't done any of them dunks. We know what Karl Malone's signature dunk was, running down the middle of the lane, one arm up, throw it in front of the rim. So, but they was in Utah, so they was trying to give him some love. But yeah, Mac McClung brought energy back to the dunk contest. You could tell he wanted to win that. He wanted to be there. He actually made more money winning the dunk contest than he had so far as NBA salary.
Wow.
And he got a Puma contract off of it too.
Sweet. So it was beneficial to him. That's a good look. I like to hear that.
Yeah, so he did his thing. So again, congrats to Mac McClung. One thing, he'll probably definitely be invited back. And I think this proves, and I got to give props with props deuce. Stephen A. Smith has been saying for the past 3 years, the NBA, if they want to keep the dunk contest, they need to stop asking pros to do it. Let pros sponsor, and then they find the best dunkers from around the country, around the world, bring them in. You have a sponsor that's a pro, so you keep the pro element, and have these guys perform for $500,000. I mean, McClung got $250,000, $500,000, $1 million prize. Well, you can get the best dunkers in the world and still have the connection with the NBA and put these guys, on right on center stage. Oh, the new McClung's coming out May 1st. So see, he doing his thing. So shout out. And see, they can get stuff like this. You can find somebody that nobody know about, end up with a shoe deal where they're gonna make more money, get some money, get that vibe. And that's I think they need to go ahead and do that. Because it's obvious the stars don't want to do it anymore. And they damn sure don't want to compete when they got somebody like Mac McClung who's a dunk PhD.
They don't want no parts of that.
They don't want because they don't want to be embarrassed. So,
or just bring your A game. If you ain't bringing your A game, don't get on the court. One or the other.
Pros don't practice all those fancy dunks. Yeah, they'll do a backwards dunk and all that. They ain't practicing the stuff Mac McClung was doing. I've seen video of him when he was in high school where he was jumping, doing 360s, and dunking the ball without even looking at the rim for the extended.
well, let me just say this. The NBA has changed over the years. And so players are not really posting up. They're not going down low. So, yeah, you're right. They're not practicing dunks because all they want to shoot is damn threes.
Exactly.
So, I feel you.
All right, partner. We're in the final third of the regular season. Most teams have somewhere between 20 to 24, 25 games left. We're in that final push. Now everybody got to start getting serious, locking down, trying to get healthy, get their rotations right so they can get ready for this playoff push and this playoff run. But unfortunately, we got some bad injury news. Giannis, the last game before the All-Star break, hurt his wrist, actually falling out of bounds, tried to catch himself on the basket, the lower part missed it. He sprained the ligament in his right wrist. Went to New York today to get it checked out, or actually Monday, and they said that he's gonna be out until that pain is completely gone. But the problem with that's his main hand. You know how he likes to dunk with it, and that's his power hand. When you talk about straining a ligament, all it takes is somebody to hit it the right way, and all that pain going to come right back. So that could be a problem for the Warriors long term.
Yep.
We still got Steph out dealing with a knee ligament. They say he's probably going to be out 2 to 3 more weeks while that heals. The Celtics got Jaylen Brown. He played in the All-Star game, played with a mask, but he's got a fracture in his face. So, again, somebody hit that the right way. He going to be in pain, might not be able to play for a while. And then you got some of the people that we always hear about. You got your boy Joel Embiid. They say he nursing a foot injury. He's been playing with it. He got back issues, so at any time Joel could have to be shut down. The tough boy Memphis Grizzlies, they'd have had multiple players miss 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in a row. So who knows how they're going to hold up. And your boy Ja Morant always on the ground. So, he's just a bad fall away from him being out for a lot of time. Then you got your Clippers.
AKA load management.
I mean, who knows when Kawhi's knee going to balk up, and PG, Paul George, you might decide, he's just not feeling well.
I don't think Kawhi want to play anymore.
It's just real interesting. And then you got Chris Paul. I feel bad for Chris Paul sometimes because he wants to win a title. I just think Chris Paul's body's been breaking down from all them years of him playing. He's like 38 now.
Mm-hmm.
I just think his body, he's a smaller player that's been going to the hole in the NBA for all these times. And then KD, he's still not back. They don't know when he's going to come back and make his debut with the Suns. Devin Booker's been dealing with hamstring injuries all this season. So the Suns got a bunch of people at any time could be back out. The Pelicans with Zion. The Pelicans having a decent season. Nobody talking about because Zion Williams been hurt most of it.
Yeah, but they don't need Zion to be successful. They showed that last year.
But they need him to be successful in the playoffs.
I understand, bro. But if he's not on the court, then what? You gotta play with what you got.
I hear you. And then the Minnesota Timberwolves have been without Karl Anthony Towns for a big portion of the year. They're looking to hopefully get him back in a week or so. So all these teams.
You ain't missing the Lakers.
Because the Lakers in 13th, dog. And we know Anthony Davis could trip, walk into the court, and be out for 4 weeks. I'm sorry. But we know what it is with the Lakers.
Yep.
LeBron accomplished his goal this year, became the number 1 all-time scorer. Now he's got some pieces back in trades that should actually make the Lakers competitive. I think the Lakers will make the play-in tournament. And in a 1-game situation, I think they can win enough to maybe get the 8 seed. So, but after that, they're going to get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've noticed, it looked like, Anthony Davis don't want to be there anymore. His whole expression, when they show him on the bench, it's like, man, why am I here? If it wasn't for me making this $40-something million a year, it wasn't what I thought.
Money. He's straight stealing money.
Yeah. Then you had your NBA buyout market, players that were traded at the trade deadline, and the teams who traded for them didn't want him. So your boy Russell Westbrook got bought out by the Jazz, says he's going to be signing with the Clippers, or at least they finalizing the deals to see how much of a pay cut Russ is going to take, because that's interesting. When they do the buyouts, is how much money you willing to give back for us to release you. So,
I mean, how do you think that's messing with his psyche? Because this dude in there went to a couple teams and don't nobody want him.
That should tell you something. Yeah, you can put up stats playing the way you play, but the way you play doesn't lead to team success playoff wise. It's a shame. DC don't want John Wall back.
I was going to say that. I don't think that's going to happen. They got no room for him.
Yeah. Terrence Ross, who's a decent little guard shooter. Orlando Magic bought him out. He's going to sign with the Suns. That's a good extra shooter for the Suns. Reggie Jackson got bought out by the Charlotte Hornets. He's going to sign with the Denver Nuggets. That's a really good pickup for the Nuggets. To give them somebody who can play not only point guard but shooting guard, and give them some backcourt depth. They got plenty of bigs. Backcourt depth is where they need it. So that was big. Your boy, Madman Patrick Beverly, the Orlando Magic bought him out too. He's supposed to be going to the Bulls. Not that that's going to matter, because the Bulls season pretty much shot. And Kevin Love, who been stealing money for 5 of the 8 or 9 years he's been with the Cleveland Cavaliers, is signing with the Miami Heat. So teams are trying to, get these guys on the cheap, because all they have to do is pay them the veteran minimum for the remaining amount of games. So it's not much money, and see if they can help them. So
can Kevin Love even go up and down the court? I'm trying to understand.
Man, he made out like a fat bandit. Before LeBron ran up out of there, he signed that 5-year extension. He been getting paid. So I ain't mad at Kevin Love. He got his ring, got 100 and something plus million extra from Cleveland. So he good. He good. Yeah, Gary Payton III situation was interesting. Golden State almost blew that trade up to bring him back because he's got abdomen issues. He had surgery in the offseason and came to find out that they said that the Trailblazers were not forcing him, but making it pretty adamant that they wanted him to get on the floor, and he was taking pills, pain pills, specifically Toradol, which is a very, very heavy pain pill to play. And then when the Warriors actually did his physical, he didn't pass his physical for the Warriors because they say he wasn't fully healed. And they say realistically, they're hoping that they can get him back in the playoffs, but it's like there's a good chance he won't play again this year. So Gary Payton, that's really not going to hurt the Warriors. That'd have been a good deal if he was healthy, but yeah, I'm not sure he's going to help. So right now, you got the Celtics leading the Eastern Conference, and with what's going on right now with Giannis and the Bucks, who only half game behind and was the hottest team in the East. They won 11 straight games in the East, where Giannis going to be sitting out for, who knows, a week, maybe 2. That gives the Celtics a chance to kind of, put a little more cushion in there for that number 1 seed. And we saw last year it came down to a game 7 against the Bucks, and they had it on their Celtics home court, and they won that game. So that could be a big issue for them. Your 76ers with Embiid are only 3 games back at number 1, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to catch Celtics. What you think, J3?
So I'm thinking that the team with the green, with the 4-leaf clover, should be the number 1 seed. I think they're gonna take the East this year because, like you said, if Giannis doesn't get better, I don't see nobody stopping.
I hear you. A fun team to watch in the Eastern Conference playoffs is going to be the Cavaliers because they still, merging all that stuff together with their big trade over the summer. So, yeah, you're right. He got to be healthy.
Exactly.
The question is, how healthy is that risk going to get? So we will see.
We've already seen if he ain't on the court, they ain't winning.
Yeah, everybody else in the East really doesn't matter. I don't see anybody really challenging the Celtics, Bucks, or the Sixers for the Eastern Conference. Then we got the Western Conference, man. The Western Conference is crazy. Like I said earlier, J3, right now, the LA Lakers are 13th, but they're only three and a half games back of 6. If you look at 3 through 13, you are literally talking about a difference of about 5 games.
And that's a good thing. I mean, we said it before that the West is always stacked. The playoffs should be interesting this year because there's so many teams that have blossomed throughout the season. That's what we want. We don't want to see just a lopsided season. So no, this is just a good thing.
So you got the Nuggets, who've been number 1 in the West all year pretty much, and they're only half a game out of the best record in the league. So they're still shooting for that. Just so when it comes to the NBA Finals, they want to try to maybe get home court advantage for that. Memphis still solid at second. The surprise team again, Sacramento Kings. We gotta give them a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a mirage early in the season, but this point, that's not a mirage anymore. They solid, 7 games over 500, 8 games back at first, but they've been in third for half of the year. So shout out to Mike Brown and his coaching staff, getting those young guys to buy into the new system and playing. They're gonna be a problem for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would hate to be a number 2 or number 3 seed and have to see the Golden State Warriors in the first round.
Yep.
That'd be a problem.
Yep, because Clay clicking on all cylinders right about now. That'd be a problem.
So they hoping that Steph can get back in enough time where they can get to the 4 or 5 seed. They do not want to see Golden State as a 6th, 7th, or 8th seed. And some teams wouldn't want to see the Lakers at an 8th seed. I think that would be a crazy matchup. AD playing against Joker. He's been one of the few. Him and Embiid have been 2 of the few people have actually been able to give Jokic a little problem. So the Lakers, if they can keep AD healthy and make it to the 8th seed, that could be a crazy series for them. So it's just gonna be fun to watch, man.
They might need to load manage them.
Yeah, load manage him, make sure he not tripping, leaving the arena.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I and we make fun of it. Some people's bodies just aren't made for the wear and tear and the constant pounding. It's obvious Zion's body, for what he does, his explosiveness and the size and weight that he has. Wow, yeah, it's nice he can do that, but his body can't maintain him doing that. Then you got people like Giannis who just are just absolute freaks, and even when they get injured, they don't stay out long.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed.
So it's going to be fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm really getting to my NBA and NCAA zone now that football is over. So we look forward to it. Hey, shout out to my man, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and his business partner. They kicked off.
XFL.
The XFL is back. They started the games this past Saturday and Sunday. It's 18s. They try to play at least 2 games on the weekend. I think they're going to have actually a Friday night game this coming week. But shout out, they're doing a good thing. And their alliance with the NFL, their season's only 8 weeks. So right when their season ends and they do their little playoffs and have a champion, it runs right into when the NFL is going to start inviting people to their mini camps. Versus the USFL, which doesn't start until the end of March or early April. Their players, when mini camps start, they still going to be in their season. So I think the Rock's doing a good job. They got support with ABC and Disney and ESPN. So get to see if you Jones for some football, you got the XFL. See some guys that might be making a league coming up soon. All right, J3, we done got through the highlights of the week. It is time for our final post so we can get up out of here. What you got for me?
So again, we all know this is Black History Month. And I recommended the 1619 Project last week. This week, I'm going to recommend another documentary for my man Bill Russell called Legend. If you haven't seen it, it's very good. It's a 2-part series. I highly recommend it.
Excellent, excellent. I want to recommend a movie that's been out called Devotion. It's about one of the few Black pilots that were fighting, I believe it was the Korean War, I believe. But it's a great movie. Devotion shows Black love in a powerful way, and also shows how that even in times of conflict or strife, when people are treating you the right way because of your race, nationality, color, religion, how you still have people who may have one point of mind actually change and become friends. So shout out, check it out. It's a good movie. Great to take up some time over the weekend if you don't have the time, to do that. All right, J3, another week down, another show down. It's time for us to get up out of here. So we'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. We're here each and every Tuesday now at 8 p.m. for our live show. You can also download this show and previous shows via our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or if you prefer your favorite podcasting platform, all you have to do is search for Positions on Sports Talk Show. And whatever platform you go, please do us a favor, like and subscribe. Subscription's free. We greatly appreciate that. It helps us out a lot. And if you want to hit us up, you can hit us up on Instagram and Facebook at Positions on Sports. And our Twitter handle is at Positions on SBO1. Again, we greatly appreciate your time. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Take advantage of these last few days of Black History Month. But as we have it, it's Black History Month every month. See you next week. Peace.
See ya.